Hi and welcome to my vlog this week. This week I'll be discussing the Coronation Street storyline, which was the miscarriage of one of the characters. Now, whenever there's a soap and there are two pregnancies, I always worry that one will not happen, because I think, how many babies can you have on a soap? Like, they've obviously got a certain amount that they would permit. So with this storyline, it was quite comical in the sense that one man has impregnated two women and they don't know about it. But yeah, this storyline about the miscarriage, it was a very sad topic to cover, I feel, for the Coronation Street cast, but it's one that unfortunately is a reality. So first of all, I have to say that I'm amazed at the actors' strength and courage, because both actors have actually suffered real life losses. So for them to actually take part in this storyline and actually possibly reenact some of the emotions, the raw emotions that they felt, I was just amazed. I was really amazed. I'm also aware that obviously it's a soap, so within that short space of time of like half an hour, there's a lot that needed to be squeezed in. And from what I watched, actually, they touched upon so many different points that obviously they worked hard to get it done in such a short space of time, because they touched upon points that I felt like I was going back to, actually, and I was actually sat there and I was getting all emotional and just crying, because it brought back a lot of the memories for me. I mean, as a mother, you feel powerless to know that your child has passed away and there was nothing you could have done to change that outcome. Yeah, and also the fact that they worked closely with SANS, which was a charity that I was in contact with quite a lot after the loss of my first son, and they really helped me in terms of like coping, I would say, and getting extra information in regards to helping myself, my husband and my family and so forth, and just trying to understand, you know, the loss from other people's perspectives. Though when you've lost your child, you're not thinking about other people's perspectives, to be honest with you, which is again something that I believe that Coronation Street actually managed to put across, for example with Michelle, the mother, and Steve, the father. So yeah, there were certain things that I picked up on. So for example, at the hospital, after she'd lost her child, she was getting angry at a nurse and she said, "How could you know?" And then the nurse responded that she herself had lost a child. And I think that's one thing that every mother that's lost a child asks about other people, like, how do you know how I'm feeling? You know, unless you've been through it yourself, then you won't really know, you know. So, and it rings true, actually, because I find that people have said in the past, "Yeah, I know how you feel, I know how you feel," but trust me, you really don't know how I feel, because if you knew how I feel, you would not be telling me that you know how I feel. If somebody tells me that they've lost a child, I cannot tell that person that I know how they feel, because I don't know how they feel. I can sympathize, but that is it. One thing I'm happy that Coronation Street didn't mention is, let's say for example, a character saying, "Oh, you can have plenty more, you can always try again," which is something that was said to me quite a couple of times that I weren't really impressed with. Nobody wants to hear that when you've just lost a child. So I'm glad they didn't, you know, say that. And yeah, it also brought other thoughts and feelings. Like a couple of weeks ago, I was speaking to one of my friends, and the comment was made that basically some other family members or a family member would have felt the loss of my son more than me. And for a minute I was like taken aback by that comment. Like, how can somebody that's related to me feel the loss more than me? Because from the moment my child was conceived, I had plans, you know, just simple plans like, you know, taking my child to his first day of school, seeing him writing his name for the first time, his first birthday party, and then all of that was just wiped out. And then to hear somebody telling me that obviously the grief that others are feeling will be stronger than what I'm feeling, I really didn't understand that, and I'm still perplexed by that statement actually. So if any of you guys can agree or disagree, please feel free to let me know, because I'm just perplexed by that. So yeah, it was this, going back to the storyline, sorry, I'm just going off on one. Going back to the story, I felt that it was highlighted also that obviously men and women do grieve differently. Don't get me wrong, you do get some men who are more emotional and will express their feelings, but then you get men who, you know, want to just step back and just have time to come to terms with what's just happened. And I found that after we lost our son, I was more outwardly angry and depressed and upset and just, you know, really, really struggling, whereas my husband was very kind of quiet and more composed. And I remember thinking at one point, he doesn't really care. So when Michelle, the character on Coronation Street, saw her husband laughing at something, it brought me back to that. And it doesn't mean that just because you've lost a child and, you know, the person's having a laugh, that they don't care or they're not suffering. It's just that everybody grieves differently. Even an individual can grieve differently for different people. So, you know, I didn't understand it at the time then, but obviously I've come to understand it now, and I can see it from the different perspective watching Coronation Street. Yeah, it was really emotional. It was sad, and the feeling of seeing your child and knowing that you will never see that child smile again, you would never hold that child or feed that child again, it is really heartbreaking. And as I said, it brought me back to the memories of when I lost my son, and, you know, saying my final goodbyes, and that feeling when your child is being taken away from you and there's nothing you can do. It's a really painful feeling. And yeah, it brought back a lot of memories. Oh, gosh, I don't want to start crying now, but yeah, I find that when I watch things like this, it kind of makes me feel, like, oh gosh, I'm in that place again. And sometimes it takes me days to get over it. Obviously now I've got Eli now, who is a distraction, but it kind of brings a regression within my emotional state of being. And that storyline did, I must admit. And obviously I'm okay. I'm learning to deal with it, but as I say, it's something that will always be with me. So when I hear statements or, you know, comments like other people are feeling it more, I don't know how that can be, because I feel it on a daily basis. Like, look, I watch Coronation Street. Yes, I know it's fake. It's a fake storyline, but it brought back so many memories. So I don't know how that the way I'm feeling, somebody else can feel it more. You know, I carried my child for 9 months. You know, I gave birth to him. We'd even started planning things, like we planned his first photo shoot and so forth. And then to go back and call the company and say, well, do you mind if I have a refund because my child is no longer with me? It's things like that. And I really do feel that people that haven't lost the child really just don't understand. And if you know somebody that's lost a child, please think before you speak. Just think. Even though the person might seem like they're okay and they're on top of the world, just think. Ask yourself, is it something that I really need to say, or can it just not be said, and just keep your mouth closed? You know, you don't always need to make a comment about how you feel somebody is feeling, especially when it comes to grief, because everybody grieves differently. So yeah, that's it. So yeah, thank you for tuning in again. I'll end it there because I've been going on for almost 10 minutes now, so I'll just close it and end it. And yeah, hopefully I'll vlog again soon. Take care. Bye.